Ciao everyone, here are the parents, and here I am dropping them off at the train station so that they can get to Rome. Here are some flowers Jackson got me that afternoon. Super sweet, super cute. I love the cats here. They're like all so friendly, and there was this cat standing outside of my apartment, and I had to hang out and pet it for a bit. It was really sweet. It was kind of heartbreaking to leave him. On Tuesday, I took my parents to get some dinner, and we got some pasta. I had a cacio e pepe, then showed them around at Blue Bar. The only thing that I have from Wednesday is my dinner, and that was a ravioli with a black truffle sauce. Then Thursday, my parents are in Venice today, and I am at my leather workshop where I am creating a notebook. Here's the finished product. That evening, we had our Sfinire workshop. Sfinire is a dessert wine. It's super sweet, but also super strong in alcohol. Like, we're talking 18-19%. We got to try some along with a few different items. So we had a cookie, dark chocolate, and a cracker with gorgonzola cheese. From then on, we got to get our own bottle and fill it with our own wine, and then cork it, label it, wax the top, all of it, and we got to take it home. On Friday, we have our second to last field trip to Tivoli. We'll be visiting two villas today in Tivoli, and the first one that we're visiting is Villa d'Este. The story behind this villa is actually, it comes from the second villa that we're going to be visiting today, which is Hadrian's Villa, and this place was inspired by it. So essentially the cardinal that, I believe it was the cardinal that was living here, his first task was to uncover Hadrian's Villa and recreate his own version of it, because it was supposedly the most beautiful in history of villas, Hadrian's was, so he had it recreated. So we saw the inside. It's very pretty, but the outside is where the real magic happens. We spent more time outside exploring all the different fountains than we did on the inside. And these fountains were so pretty and so big. What was cool about this first fountain is that we actually got to walk underneath it, and I got some of the coolest pictures like ever from underneath this fountain. Here's another set of fountains because there were lots of them. In between villas, we went and got some lunch, so I had just your typical margarita pizza. It was actually really good at this place. I don't know what was different about it, but I miss it. There was another chocolate event happening here, so that was fun to walk around and look at while we were waiting for our lunch break to end. Here we've arrived at Villa Adriana, which is Hadrian's villa. So now we get to see what Villa d'Este was inspired by. I actually feel super goofy because I totally didn't even comprehend how old this place was. Like, we're talking ancient. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. It very much reminded me of the Roman forums, and I don't know, I would have loved to see this place in its prime because it was massive and it was super cool, but I don't know what I was expecting and why I thought it was going to look newer, but I prefer this by a long shot. On Saturday, Jackson and I decided to do a last-minute trip to Rome to visit the Vatican City, and we wanted to see St. Peter's and the Vatican Museum, but our train was delayed by an hour and a half, so unfortunately our window of time to see St. Peter's was missed, but we did get to go visit the Vatican Museums and the Sistine Chapel. It was a Saturday, so unfortunately it was super busy, and I felt like our tour guide kind of ran us through. Like, we didn't really get a chance to stop and look at anything. It was kind of go, 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 and I wish that we would have not had a tour. That way we could have just done our own thing, but that was the only available option, considering how last minute we decided to go. The Sistine Chapel was obviously my favorite part, but unfortunately I could not get pictures in it because there is no photography allowed inside, but I did see it and it was super cool. Afterward, Jackson and I were exhausted and we sat outside on a bench for a bit. It was kind of a nice day. He fell asleep on my shoulder, which just goes to show just how wiped out we were, especially considering we had a field trip the day before. Then for dinner, I had yet another pizza because it's just simple and easy. On Sunday, I took my dad up the clock tower because he wanted to see it, and I figured, you know what, might as well go back up there too because it was a super cool view. And then that afternoon, I took Mom down to the Co-op, which is the grocery store down at the bottom of the hill, just to kind of show her what our grocery store is like. Yeah, you're not gonna believe this one, but I had more pizza. Then here's a cool picture of Dad standing in front of the Duomo, and that is what we have for this week. So I hope you enjoyed week 11, and I'll see you next week for week 12. Ciao!